You're listening to the DTF podcast, Down to Fitness, where we turn personal trainers into fitness professionals. We're your hosts, Dayton McPherson and Kyle Radune. It's that time again, America's favorite game show, listener question time. Oh, God. So we did one of these a couple weeks ago, and it was really fun where someone just DM'd Kyle, because remember, Kyle controls the Instagram. And we've had 3 people DM us, so we're up 300% from the last time we did this episode. So we're going to answer some listener questions, everything from about retention and cancellations and all this great stuff. So what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us again. Kyle and I haven't filmed in a little while, even though we've got those episodes coming out. So it's good to see you, buddy. What's going on?
Nick, good to see you, man.
What do you think about the beard?
It was the first thing I noticed when you signed on. I was like, geez, this guy. Now, I made a joke recently that you were the road warrior because you were like hopping around from gym to gym. Now, are you just living out of your car in like hotel rooms or what?
So this week I didn't go anywhere, which was nice. Last week I was down in Jersey. Next week I've got to go to Warwick, Rhode Island and New Jersey. And then come October, it's going to be crazier. Wow. And then potential open date November 1st of the New Jersey site. So I'll be down there a couple times a week. I've got 2 bags. I've got a bag that I bring to my gym that's got all my workout stuff in it. And then I always have like my go bag that's like, okay, I've got all my deodorant. I've got this stuff in it. I've got my toothbrush. I'm good to go. And honestly, the beard just started with me not wanting to shave because I was being lazy. And then I went to go get my hair cut a couple weeks ago. And my barber was like, I'm not shaving it because it looks good. And I was like, okay. So I guess this is a thing now.
I mean, it does look good. I just would have complained that it's a little hot.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I don't like hair.
Yeah, so. Yeah. You just got it on your eyebrows, and that's about it for you.
Don't talk about my eyebrows. I didn't get them done. I usually get them done before the episode.
You get your eyebrows done?
I gotta be honest, they're kind of a hot mess right now.
I've never had my eyebrows
done. I get my eyebrows threaded every once a month.
Yeah, I've got big bushy eyebrows, and usually my barber takes care of them, but it looks like I've got caterpillars on my face.
See, I don't go to the barber. And now we've lost 50% of our listeners because we're just talking about eyebrows now. So with that said,
all right, let's go back. All right. Question number 1. So this one is from one of our listeners, and her question reads, I'm really doing a great job with my closing percentage, and I'm getting new clients. So kudos on that. The problem is I'm having a hard time getting them to re-sign. They are seeing results, but still not sticking around past their 3 months. Initial thoughts, Kyle.
Well, first thing that comes to mind, as soon as I read this question, I had kind of shot back a few things instantly. And it was right away. It was the truth about retention is it starts at the beginning. It starts when you sign them up. Mm-hmm. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm building this relationship, and we talk about this all the time. Before we make the phone calls, before we set up the consultation, we're already building value in our training program. So now when I got you in, I've got you signed up. That should have been necessarily the hard part to get started. Now, the easy part here should be building that relationship and making it, so that they don't want to leave. It has nothing to do with the workout. A lot of trainers think if I don't get them results, or if I don't give them the new fun workout, or if I didn't if there's someone that likes to be beaten up, if I don't beat them up every day, they're not going to stay. And the truth is good trainers learned that we can't make everyone lose weight that wants to lose weight. There are so many other factors in success for clients that if you just rate your ability as a trainer by how much success your clients get, it's going to be a really hard thing to measure if we were measuring it by pounds.
Right.
Now, the way I measure a good trainer and a good training session is actually I can stand about 30 feet away from you training your client and tell you if it's a good training session and have nothing to do with the exercises you chose, and maybe not even just the coaching behind it. But if you're laughing and they're smiling and they're kind of bumping elbows and they're laughing, that's a client you're going to keep forever. So that's my initial thoughts. Obviously, I think there's a lot of things we can touch on today, but that's right away.
Yeah, it's about connecting, building that relationship right from the get-go during your consultation, connecting with everything from what they're wearing, what they do for work, their kids. Like, you should know all that stuff. And if you don't, you have to ask. Like, you should know every intricate part of their life, because that is what mostly you're going to talk about in your training sessions. It's not going to be how to do a proper form of a deadlift. It's going to be all the stuff that they're doing on the weekend. What'd you watch on Hulu this weekend? If you're not having those conversations, you need to start. And other than that, you have to share about your life too and what's going on to your comfort level. You don't have to tell them everything. I got in a fight with my significant other over the weekend. You don't have to tell them that stuff. Make it fun, make it relatable too. I think that that's important as well. You know, I'm a big dork. We did that episode where I talked about my game room. I don't talk about Star Wars and Lord of the Rings with every single one of my clients. Some of them I do, but not all of them, because they don't care. So I'm going to find things that are going to get them to engage in conversation back to me. Just like when we do in our consultation, we're trying to initiate responses so we can have conversations, not just, hey, we're going to do this 10 reps, go, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really work like that. So I wanted to kind of talk about other things in terms of retention, like going above and beyond what may be required of you. So I had always done like birthday cards and stuff for my clients when I wasn't as busy. A birthday text goes a long way too. Above and beyond, if you've got a client who just had surgery, like go drop off groceries or flowers or something to them. One of our members had a significant other pass away, and all the trainers signed a card, sent flowers and things like that. So that just goes into more of the personal aspect rather than the training aspect. It is personal training, so you got to be personal with these people and kind of know what's going on with everything.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, because I love that you mentioned the cards. Get well cards, happy birthday cards, holiday cards. I used to keep a box of pretty generic, like congratulations, get well soon, and birthday cards in my desk. And you should know your clients' birthdays, because when you enter in the system, they should have a date of birth. And whether you're a big corporate gym that probably organizes birthdays for you, or if you're just a small studio and you have 20 clients, you should have those things marked in your system and put on your calendar, alerts in your phone, because all you have to do is go into your office, pull out one of those cards, write a little something about the workout, and I'm telling you, that $1.50 goes a long way.
Yeah. You can get those generic cards on Amazon for next to nothing. Same thing. I've got them in my gym.
Like $10.
I know it's nothing. And think about if you invest $10 into some cards and it makes one person do another program. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It works out quite easily.
Yes.
Other things is, you were talking about programming earlier, and sometimes it's not about programming, but let's segue into what makes a good program, because I think that does help people stay, more so the personal stuff than actually what the workout is. But I want to be as transparent as I can with my clients in terms of the workout. So letting them know what the next program is going to be for them. Are we going to do a 3-month cycle? Are we going to do a deadlifting cycle? Are we going to do a squatting cycle? And then retesting them at the end of that, but also let them know why you're doing those specific exercises too. Not just we're going to do blank, blank, blank. Like, there's a reason that we should be doing all these things, and tell them during this program, we'll be working on X, Y, and Z. Always discuss why that is and what you're doing next. Talk to them and they will understand why you're doing stuff, because everybody just doesn't want to be told. They want to know why, and do this often. Almost every session that I do with people, we're doing X, Y, and Z because of these reasons. Boom.
Now, when you start your training sessions, now it's different in like a Globo gym, because you're in a big room with a lot of other trainers and stuff. In my studio, because I have a whiteboard, I have everyone's workouts written on the board as you walk into the room. So I have 2 really long ones. So I actually can organize my next 4 or 5 clients in a row. So their programs are all there. Warm up, strength, cool downs, whatever we're going to do. It's all there. When they come in, I greet them, small talk, yada, yada, yada. Today, we are going to do X, Y, Z. The purpose of today's workout is to test your 1 rep max deadlift. Because we're lifting heavy today, our warm up, we are going to start to prime your hamstrings and your glutes. And we're going to do some X, Y, Z. That's going to get us to get the strongest deadlift possible. After we've hit your heavy lift, we're going to hit accessories, because we want to make sure we touch on all the other little muscles, this, that, the other thing, stability, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Abs. Boom. That's a great way as they become a part of the program.
Right.
Now, as far as like involving them in it, to go a step further, and you mentioned this, like changing the stimulus or the style of working out,
Yep.
Recently, I've had a client lost 100 pounds. Shout out to Corey.
Corey.
He sometimes listens. Client of mine, but he likes the show. So, cool. He's going to be a personal trainer one of these days. When we're done, he'll go become a trainer. Lost 100 pounds in the last year. It's a lot of alternations between like strength training and like circuits and supersets and like mini wads and all that kind of stuff. After we hit the 100-pound mark, we kind of got to the goal weight, and it was like, I really want to work on my shoulders, my chest. And it stopped being about losing 100 pounds and about building my body, bodybuilding. So that was the purpose. We just shifted to a bodybuilding focus. We're doing partials and half reps and like 1.5 reps and slow negatives on this bench press. And it's like blowing him up by explaining to him the difference between why you lift heavy versus why you lift light, finding the squeeze in the muscle versus getting the best leverage to lift heavy. Like these are things that you can involve in your clients to help them understand the what and the why. And now, I know this is long-winded, but it's if you had a 3-month client, well, we just went through 2 months of maybe powerlifting. And maybe in the last 4 weeks, I introduced some of that cool bodybuilding stuff. And now they're going, okay, this is a lot of fun. It's always different. And I want to see what's next. And guess what? In order to see what's next, you got to resign.
Resign, Corey.
Yeah. If I gave him a 10-year program, he'd pay right.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Not even a question.
So you're talking about goals and specific things that people want to work on. It's very crucial that we make sure that we congratulate people when they hit those goals. So when Corey, and we keep talking about Corey because he said his name, when he loses that 100 pounds, as coaches, don't we want to say, dude, you just lost 100 pounds. That's amazing. Congratulations. And too often of times people will just focus on the scale when it comes to exercise and weight loss and strength gain, all that good stuff. But there's other things that we can think about congratulating with people as well. Like, you're eating less, you're walking more. Are they sleeping better? Is their mood better? The big thing that I like to do is when I'm writing programs with people is I do a lot of higher rep stuff between like 6 and 12. I typically won't go below that very often. So if you're going to do 6 reps of a deadlift and it is the most amount of weight that you've ever done for 6 reps, I will tell them that and be like, great job. That is the most that you've ever lifted for 6 reps. And I know that because I write all my workouts down too, and I keep track of it. So when they hit something that they've never done before or they're starting to do better, tell them, because they don't know. Your clients have no idea the weight that they're lifting. They have no clue. They don't know that a blue kettlebell is 50 pounds. They don't know that a red dumbbell is 20. They have no idea because you hand it. No, I'm just saying. But you hand it to them and they just do what you tell them.
Mm-hmm. And absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's been a joke amongst trainers forever that every time your client turns around, you add 5 pounds and they're like, what do you mean you're going up in weight? I'm like, you just did 10 reps and you didn't even squint or like squeal. Like you just, I put a little more weight on that, but they never know. They never know. So, but I think it's a really good point. Small wins. We're always attacking the small wins. If someone comes in for 100 pounds of weight loss, I can guarantee you, me and Corey didn't talk about 100-pound weight loss until about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We've been together for 18 months. Probably.
Right.
So it's like, we just now started talking about, because before it was, can we get to 300? Can we get to 290? Can we get to 275? Even back then, it wasn't even, I tried to make it not about weight loss. Can you go 5 pounds heavier on the deadlift? It's a 300-pound deadlift. Or you've said a couple of things that I really liked, and I just want to kind of reiterate them because they're so important.
Yeah.
Small wins on, you used to eat a chocolate chip cookie every night before bed. You ate 3 nights, you skipped your chocolate chip cookies. Like that is a win. People need to respect that, because if you're someone that has struggles, especially with weight and food, that's like a drug. If you knew a heroin addict and you were like, listen, I just want you to go to every other night, and they did, you would be ecstatic, because the fact that they had the self-control to only do exactly what you had told them to do. I mean, those are huge wins, and they need to feel that every single day. So it's not wait 6 months till they hit their goal. It's you slept through the night. You always toss and turn and are restless and feel like shit. You you had, a week of good poops. Like, sorry, TMI, but like if you're constantly running to the bathroom and you got diarrhea or you're always constipated and your diet sucks, well, this is a huge win when you eat enough fiber and vegetables and you have normal poops. Like, these are the things that we actually win. Because the 10 pounds, I don't even care about anyways. But
that will come if you're making the small wins turn into bigger ones.
Because the big wins will come if you have small wins. But if you don't have small wins, the big one never comes.
So you want to move on to a next question, but let's summarize this one real quick.
Actually, there was two things that I really want to touch on. They don't need to require a lot. I think you wrote this. Motivation is fake.
Yeah.
It's in our notes. So I want to say this because this is something that every client comes to you motivated.
I'm motivated. It's fake. It's not real.
Motivation is the most bullshit thing ever. Anything that you've ever started when you were motivated, you didn't complete.
Yeah.
So let's take the motivated person and sign them up. But you have to win them over again when the motivation wears off.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a 3-month program, the motivation wore off in 10 days. So what are you doing for the other 2.5 months to not keep them committed? And I don't want to say remotivate them because that's just another shitty term again. How can you get them more dedicated? How do you get them more committed, more consistent? Because then that shit comes.
Yeah.
So I love that you wrote motivation is fake. And I think people get excited about motivation. And it's like, dude,
it's not real. It's about consistency. Are you motivated to go to the gym every single day, Kyle? Be honest.
I haven't wanted to work out in months.
Thank you. I never want to go to the gym. I do it because I know it's good for me and I need to do it. That's not motivation. That is consistency. I'm trying to be consistent, not motivated. I'm never motivated.
I trained all summer for the competition. The second the competition was over, I was like, bye. I'm done working out for at least a month.
A little while. Absolutely. So motivation is fake. Yep.
Yep. So question number 2.
Wait. Going back to question number 1, just to summarize. So, just some things to take away. If you're selling a lot of people and they're not re-signing, great that you're selling a lot of people, but you won't always have everybody re-sign. So if you've got a high selling rate, your retention will probably drop. If you've got a low selling rate, you're probably not that good of a salesperson either, and they just signed up because they liked you, and those people will stay with you. So it's okay if you don't have a high re-sign rate. It's true, right?
Well, if you don't have a good retention rate, you better have a good new sale rate or else you're out of the business.
Because you're going to find those people that will stay with you. It's bound to happen.
It just takes a little longer.
Yeah. Just a couple of quick points. Connect with them. Always connect with them. Find things to talk about. Be relatable. Explain the program that you're doing and what you're going to do, and celebrate those small wins. Those are my 3 things. And remember, motivation is fake. So there's number 4.
I like that.
All right. Question 2. What is it, Kyle?
All right. So funny. So this one clearly was presented to Dayton. I imagine it's one of your people's.
Yeah.
Hi, Dayton. Yep. I just wanted to say that I really enjoy the podcast and you and Kyle are so great. I don't think it's a question. I think we just put that in there so we could.
Keep going.
There's more to it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I knew that.
That'd be great. Okay. Question 3. No.
I have a question when it comes to how to get better closing percentage. I have been using many of your tips for the Q&A and the demo training session. After the demo session, I will typically ask, and this is a quote, "Is this something that you're interested in? Is working with me?" Do you think this is an okay question? Sometimes if people say no, it's just very awkward and I don't know where to go from here. So I'm going to let you take this question since it comes from you. But the only thing I will say is at the end of this question, he does say, "Do you think this is an okay question? Sometimes if people say no, it is very awkward and I don't know where to go from here." So my first thing is like, if it feels awkward, it's probably not a good question.
Yeah. So when I read this, here's my first thought. They said, "Is this something that you're interested in?" So you gave them an option to say no when we want them to make a choice. If you remember when we were talking about like our recommendation for when people want to train with us, we give them an option. Which option works best for you? So when you assign them this question, they're able to give you an answer. But with this one, they're going to say no. I don't even want to say more likely than not, but it just gives them an opportunity to say no more easily. And then if they say no when you're on the fitness floor, because I assume that's what they mean when they say after the demo session, like they just ask right out on the floor, like you're not presenting prices to them. You're not showing them what the program could look like. You're just getting done the workout and being like, do you want to do this some more? You're not crafting them the program and showing them, okay, if we do twice a week, the investment looks like this. Here's what your program would look like. If you remember from when Kyle and I talked about the consultations, is that everybody learns differently. You've got visual, kinesthetic, and auditory. Well, you've only really caught the auditory with this person right there. You're not having them visually see what the program could look like. You're not having them imagine what the program could look like, touching and feeling what it could be like in order to work with you. So this question for me is a no. Like, I would not do it this way. I would tell them after the training session is done, or the demo training session during your onboarding consultation, whatever that you may call it. Okay, great, Kyle. I love the way that you move. You work so well. We work great as a team together. What I want to do now is collect all this information that we've gathered over the last half hour, 45 minutes, go back into my office, and we can talk about which program would work best for you to continue your exercise routine. Then Kyle's like, okay, great. Like, let's go. And then we sit down. Here's what working with me would be like, Kyle, based on X, Y, and Z from I saw from our conversation, blah, blah, blah. Then you go into your quote unquote sales pitch or professional recommendation. So you want them to get committed to understand, yes, I do want to talk about this some more. That's an easy yes, because even if they say no, you have a better chance of converting them if you get them back into the office and pose the question like that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
100%.
Cool.
So the thing I would, I like what you did there is you completely was like, all right, let's kind of change this a little bit. If this person's going to stay with this kind of style where they're asking a question out on the floor, I like the questions more that are going to be more like, can you see how working with me will help you better achieve your goals? Or can you see how working with me, I can better help you keep good form and keep you from getting injured? In the assessment, they told you every time I work out, I get hurt. Or no matter what I do, I can't achieve my goals. I never get stronger. I don't know how to do exercises. So while you're in there and you're showing them and you're working with them hands-on, and you get their form right and you get them in a good squat and they feel it in where they're supposed to feel it, and then you say, can you see how working with me can better help activate the right muscle so you can get stronger? There's only one answer to that question, and it's, yeah, I've never felt my glutes before in a squat.
Yeah.
So that's that kind of leading them down that path of, can you see how working with me, X, Y, Z?
Yeah. We're turning can'ts to cans. And I just made that up in my head. So I can't work out on my own. Well, we can do that together. I can't squat without pain in my knee. Well, we can do that with my proper instruction. Oh, I love that. Turning cans into cans. I'm making that a t-shirt.
So that's those are the questions.
That's an easy one.
All you have to do is retool the question, just a couple of those words, and now you have the right question, because he's not presenting programs on the floor. He's getting that feeler of like, did you like me? And he's getting that like, well, yeah, I do like you. I could see myself working with you. Okay, now when we sit down, my professional recommendation is that you work 2 times a week with me on XYZ. Then when we actually get to the objection part, and he's like, well, I don't know if I really can get behind it. Oh, you told me earlier that you could see yourself working together with me is how it's going to keep you safe.
The way that this person posed this question here, where they just asked that out on the floor, it's an easier letdown than being back into the office. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
So no, I'm okay with working with you. Okay. And then you just go to your next appointment rather than sitting face to face like Kyle and I are. I want you to invest $1,000 for twice a week with me for the next blank amount of months. And then you pause and you wait for Kyle to give an objection, and then you give a rebuttal. That's harder, and for a lot of you more awkward than the easy way out, the path of least resistance. Do you want to work with me? No. Okay, goodbye. So don't make it easy on yourself. Make it harder, because you'll sell and have people invest a lot more in you.
100%.
One more question? You want to do one more?
There's a third question here.
There's a third. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool. All right. You want me to read this one?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Dayton and Kyle, do you have any advice on how to not take it personal when a client cancels on you, or make it known they are prioritizing other things like hair appointments instead of coming into their sessions? I feel too emotionally invested in my business And I don't know if any other business owners or PTs feel slightly offended or annoyed.
So before you answer the question, I do want to shout out Gina. She has a strength training and Pilates studio. It is the coolest thing ever. She is doing like literally like real weight training in this really nice like Pilates studio. So she's hybrid them. So she has like kind of that deep, long mobility stretch and the great core work from like a reformer, but also traditional strength training. And it's so cool. So definitely, I wish I tagged their handle in here. I want to say it's, I'll tag it in the show notes.
Yeah, tag it in the show notes. And Gina, if you do listen to this episode, hit me up on Instagram on my personal page because I want to see what your gym looks like. She has she has
her own studio.
Okay, all right. DMACGAMES. That's my personal, and I want to see what your studio looks like. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
No, you can go first. Because I kind of gave her a little answer already. So let's see what you have to say.
All right. Gina. Hi, Gina. I'm Dayton. Nice to meet you. I don't care. Me, personally, I don't care. And the reason that I don't care is I'm putting the same amount of effort into your program that you put into the program. So if you are going to be consistently late, you are going to be consistently canceling, blah, 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 blah. I'm not putting a heck of a lot of work into your program. We are doing very minuscule exercises. We may do the same workout a couple weeks in a row. Like, I don't take it personally. I'm sure if I went and looked on my schedule by now, I've been doing this for 8 years in personal training, and I still personal train now. At least one person a day either cancels or no shows on me. And when they no show, I don't reach out to them and say, like, when would you like to reschedule? You lost that session. That is your choice. And I don't take it personally, like you don't respect my time. And that's just how I feel. I know that I'm probably in the minority with that one. I'm at this point in my career, I'm more of a just like, if you don't respect me, then I don't have the respect to then reach out to you to try to make it up. Like, this is supposed to be teamwork and a partnership. If I'm not a priority to you, how can I feel comfortable with reaching out to you and be like, hey, you missed your session yesterday. You didn't text, you didn't call me. I hope everything's okay. I know everything's okay. They just didn't let me know. I had a client last week who just didn't show up for her 7 o'clock appointment. Happens at least one time a month. And then the next time that I saw her, I was like, where were you? She goes, oh, I didn't wake up until 8:30. And I was like, you were my only appointment that day. So I drove a half an hour down here for a half an hour appointment that you chose not to go to. And then I asked her, I was like, what was so important that you had to sleep in until 8:30? She's like, well, I had a party to go to the night before, and those martinis were strong. And I was like, okay, so you prioritize going out with your friends and drinking than a scheduled weekly appointment that we always have. I was like, okay. She's been doing the exact same workout for the last 2 years, one time a week for a half an hour. I have not changed anything. Not one. Sorry. Come to your sessions. Invest the time. She has a gym membership. She doesn't use it. I try to encourage her to come in. What am I going to do?
And sometimes you just can't, right?
Yeah, sometimes I just can't. I try, and you just have to live with it. And I realize to some of the fitness professionals out there that I sound really mean. I don't mean it to be mean. I've had a very successful personal training career. At one point, Kyle and I were the #1 trainers at Health Tracks, doing 60 hours of personal training every single week. And after a while, it's just tough to motivate and feel for every single person.
So, my turn. Kyle. This is where Dave and I are totally different humans, right? I am absolutely the overly emotional trainer. I care too much. And it actually burns me out to the point where when Dayton says things like that, I go, man, I should be more like Dayton. And I want to be clear, because if you're a new trainer hearing this, don't be a dick. Don't do it.
Don't be a dick.
You have not earned the Dayton lecture. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't talk to your clients like you are hot shit for 10 years if you've been training for 6 months. So I want to make sure that message doesn't come off to like, hey, I became a trainer. I've been in this for 6 weeks and you no-showed me?
Yeah.
No.
I was not like that.
Dayton is the top trainer in the company. There is a long line of list of people waiting to get into his book. So the person that's taking that spot is robbing a hole in his schedule from people that really want it. And this is when you fire the client, because you bring up that next person that is going to give you everything they got. They're going to get you the results, and they're going to scream your name from the mountaintops. That person that disrespected you, that shows up once in a while, they do nothing for you. So I agree with you, Dave, and I just want to make sure that people understand that if you don't have a back full of clients, don't be kicking people out of your schedule yet.
Right.
Because if that person went online and wrote a review and said, Dayton's the most disrespectful trainer in all of Connecticut, well, that review gets seen by thousands of people, and now Dayton looks like an asshole. However, if he's been there for 10 years, he's got 100 5-star reviews. The other 99 are going to be like, what are you talking about? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And Dayton's still a 4.9 star trainer.
Yeah. I've talked like that to everybody for the last 6 years. I'm truthful and honest with them. And if they didn't like that, they wouldn't have re-signed with me.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and you found your people that have that attitude that actually like that.
Correct.
So you've earned that. Now, what I want to kind of take this from a standpoint of most of some of our listeners are newer trainers. A lot of people that have been training for 10 years don't really want to listen to us talk anyway. So I assume that some of these newer trainers that are really taking to heart what we have to say. And I think it's important that we kind of set that idea that if you no-show me, I'm absolutely still texting you to me, are you okay? Because I actually want you to feel bad. Are you okay? I'm so worried about you. Oh, no, I just had a hair appointment. Excuse me? I've been standing here waiting for you. So I'll make you feel guilty a little bit, but I'm going to reach out to you and make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
What I had told Gina was that if you do not charge them, then you are missing so much money. And this is truly where you have a hole in your business. Because if someone cancels or no-shows and that hour is not paid for, it is a hole in your schedule.
Yep.
However, if they are paying for it and they still no-show, you at least got paid for that hour. So if you go work out, you got paid to work out. I would take the other side and go, now I have an hour of lead gen time that I can create new business. And I'm going to use your hour that you paid me to go find a new client to replace you. So I'm now taking your money. Thank you for paying me to sit on the phone for the next 90 or 60 minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make my phone calls. I'm going to find a new client. I'm going to bring in new business so that I can be like Dayton and then put my foot down and be like, this is your fork in the road.
Right.
You're either going to, commit all the way and show up and work hard for me, or you're going to come out of my schedule so someone else can have it.
And Gina, you'll be happier if you do that too. If you find someone that is going to take that spot and is going to be committed as well. Like I get that you're emotionally invested and it doesn't make you happy. Like, trust me, it doesn't make me happy either. Like, but my emotion of like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm not happy, but like I get over it like relatively quickly. I think that's the difference where I will, back in just training days, I will go find somebody else that does care. And my only recommendation for Gina, other than the 24-hour cancellation policy and charging them and things like that, is try to have all of your people train at particular days and times every single week. So I know my Monday looks exactly the same every single week. So then they treat it like a weekly appointment. Don't schedule this client like on a Wednesday at 8 and then next week they're a Thursday at 10 and the next week be like, nope, my schedule is busy. Here's what I have open. Which days and times can you commit to every single week? Once it goes into their schedule, it will be more solidified. And then they schedule their hair appointments and things like that around the training sessions, not the other way around.
Yep. The only thing I had mentioned to her too is if it's someone you've been with for a while that used to always be committed and now they're not so much, like those are just little heart-to-heart conversations. Like I'm going to pull my people aside and be like, hey, like,
what's up?
You were so committed to your goals. Like you were doing really well. You were working really hard. And lately, it seems like, you've had a lot of cancels or no shows. Is everything going on okay? Are you less interested? And then the other big one from a fitness professional standpoint is, have your goals changed? I think a lot of times people don't realize their clients' goals change. And maybe you didn't pay attention or they didn't necessarily vocalize it. Like we're having these conversations all the time to make sure that we're doing the thing that not only that I decided you needed to do, but let's be honest, we're getting paid. Give them a little of what they want. My fat loss clients don't need to be doing arm day. But do you think like after a hard leg day and a heavy, back day,
Yeah.
they didn't love to have a little bicep tricep love because like they do. And that was a hard thing for me to learn over the years is like now I'm back to doing arm days and people would be like, oh, that's very rookie of you. But actually I've come full circle on it. Now I'm going back to like, hey, I did the hard shit earlier this week. I don't have to brutalize you every time I see you. So maybe that client now is like, every time I work out, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Like there's no easy workout. And maybe the arm day is that nice little midweek break they needed.
Right.
So having heart to hearts, we'll just ask them like, what the fuck?
What's going on?
And if it's a new client, we talked about the motivation.
Yeah.
Their motivation died. It's 3 weeks.
Yep.
They were excited and now they're not. Have a conversation about, hey, when you first came in, you were like, you wanted to come in every day and we signed you up for 3 times and now you're not showing up 2 of them. What changed from 3 weeks ago? Did you decide after 3 weeks that I wasn't the right fit? Because maybe that's what it is. Maybe things clash. Maybe there's like an awkward moment. Like I want to just air those things out so that we can fix them or move on.
Yep. Fix or move on. I like
so
that.
That's
a nice
where
way
I'm at
to
on
end.
that.
Cool.
And I did pull up her profile here because I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
It's
what is it?
Gina, GEENA _ Barbella, BARBELLA.
I like that handle.
Gina Barbella. And her studio is called Stella Barbella's.
Oh, her and Jen follow each other, or Jen follows her.
I think she found us from the Jen podcast. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
Ohio, maybe?
Awesome.
All right. So with that said, thank you for the questions.
Thank you, everybody.
Them in because we love answering them. These are a lot more fun because this actually reminds me what it's like to be in the trenches every day.
Yeah.
I know you guys love talking about like closing and making money and all. Those are the popular episodes. These ones are the ones that are more fun for us.
Yeah, and Kyle and I are so different that I like to see how we would handle different situations and things like that. So these are fun for me.
That was really good. All right, guys. Well, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.